Okay, so now we're going to look at what's trending. Let's see. Nutcracker. Hi, Sam. What happened to the OM token from the blockchain mantra? It was the 20th token according to market tech and then crashed 90% on Sunday. What's the future? Thanks. So that's not the first time that's happened. Like that's happened to like Terra Luna as well. I mean, there's just some things that just rise too fast. And I don't think that that's a viable type of project like what is currently, in the top 20, most of them. Yeah, you're right, Wade. A pump and a dump. I didn't even see that one. I wasn't, I was like, oh, no. Usually by the time we find out about it, it's too late. There are some stuff that, stand out to me, but there's so much right now in the way of good projects that will be around for the long term. You don't have to take those kind of risks. But sure, it's fun, to dice and see if you win or not. But, when you've got sure things with good projects, I think that's the best way to go. Rick Ray, what crypto do you recommend to be bought now and held for at least 1 year? Oh, that's a very good question, Rick Ray. Now I'm going to stick to the top ones. Let's look at the top gainers first. See if it continues to be like meme coins. All right. Pump Bitcoin. Bitcoin Wizards. Oh, Magic Internet Money. Benji. Dora Factory. Broccoli. Stakestone. Yeah, I don't really see anything here that I'm familiar with. Oh, now we got Unicorn Fart Dust. Yep, the meme coins are running. You're up 44, almost 45% if you got Unicorn Fart Dust. Oh my God. Pups, I told you, all the dogs. Look, there's Dog and Me as well. More. Yeah, that's what we need, more dogs. Wow. Well, there's right. Oh, Milady meme coins. So the Milady meme coin is up. ARC, that's a really old project. Check your MyEther wallet and see if you have any ARC left in there. Andy, I heard of that one before. I think it's a meme coin as well. AI companions, again, I stay away a lot from a lot of that stuff that has like AI in the title. And it's because a lot of it is just, again, hype. And by the time you find out about it, well, you're just somebody else's liquidity. Oh, and let's see what's trending as well. That's a handy list. Get an idea. Oh, Solana. Oh gosh, 130. Yeah, that was probably out of the top ones. That was a nice. Oh, Fartcoin again. There we go. Yeah. Don't listen to them. Listen to me. Get Fartcoin. No, too late. Too late. That was in from the blab before. But yeah, it's up like 100% in 7 days, which is pretty good in a market that's been beating up. Now, Ondo. That's good. Like this is serious stuff. Ondo, that would be one that I would hold for a year. Like I'm in for because I think DeFi is up next. And, I try not to time this stuff. Let's get on to cryptos here. Okay, so I covered it. Ondo was one of them. You know what? Dogecoin. I would hold that one for like at least a year. And Avalanche. Oh, look, Chainlink. Yeah. So those are my choices. Tariff Trump's live updates. Well, we beat the tariff thing to death. We can see that the markets are back and people are starting to relax and see that, he really does know what he's doing. So it looks like Donald Trump has got a great bill of health. I never doubted about any of that. I know sometimes, people who claim to be mediums, I've noticed a lot of them, they try to have like really negative things to say. Like that, nobody's going to survive the inauguration. There's going to be a bomb and blah, blah, blah. And this, I'm like, no, they're going to find out the president has a really bad illness. And I'm like, oh, no, none of that's going to happen. I mean, they're just going with the odds since he's in his late 70s that there's going to be something bad happen to him. I didn't think that Prince Charles was going to make it. If he made it as king, that he wouldn't be very long. And that's why I'm negative about him surviving this cancer. The Colorful Light wanted to know if I see a similar run to the spring. Yeah, I do. 4 trillion. Yeah, I see a run. Because and now that you've seen the backside of the wave can go back like 1 trillion from the high to the low pretty much. Well, actually, it was over that. Oh, I didn't see that. But I can't see the backside of the wave. I just knew that the capitulations were going to become wider. Yeah, we'll pull that one out from a few months back where somebody asked if things were going to level off more. And I'm like, nope, it's going to get worse. But I mean, you knew, right? So everybody's like, yeah, whatever. And then people were excited who had money coming in. I always get so excited for them. Yeah, there were a couple of key people in my life who were able to buy some cryptos really cheap. I always feel so bad. Like when my friend messaged me and her husband was looking at buying or had already bought that Bitcoin. And I was like, and she was like, what's good? He wants to know what you think is good. And I said, you know what? I said, it's always so hard when we've just had a run for, I said, we just went up like $1 trillion. Why can't you ask me this stuff before? I definitely wouldn't go all in it being up $1 trillion. Holy crap. I mean, come on, we know how this works. But I didn't think the backside would be so glorious for those people putting in. But I knew, not this particular one, but I knew from the beginning that the capitulations were going to get wider. So, I mean, we've differentiated by hundreds of billions before. Why not over $1 trillion now? Now that we're racing towards 4 trillion. So the upside can be just that. I mean, if we're not at 4 trillion by May, it should be by June. I'm thinking that this run, again, it started later, but we got to the 3 trillion early. Yeah. Because everyone asked it. I'm like, yeah, we're going back to the 3 trillion, but it's not going to be the same mix of coins that you make. I mean, it's going to be the usual suspects, but I mean, you saw Stellar run the way that it did compared to other times. Humine says, do you feel Cardano ADA can hit $5 before year end? Well, yeah, especially with it being the reserve coin and you're saying year end, because regulation is going to bring in a lot of those eat what they kill that day people who work in commissions in the world of finance. Oh yeah, the commission salespeople are coming and they're going to be selling cryptos, man. But there's going to be regulations in place. So when you're moving like a big pension fund and you're going to start buying cryptos, what is going to be in, and this is where Compliance Girl comes into play, what is going to be in the list of requirements? Well, one of them is going to be length of project. If it's a brand new project, it's going to fall into another category, which maybe you're only allowed to put 15% of your total, 50 million that you're going to put in from your fund. And that's going to be like across the board. So there's going to be pension funds that are worth, $500 billion and they're allowed to invest 50 billion in cryptos, maybe more. Other ones are doing so well. Yeah. Cardano to $5. Why not? I think this run, it will see its all-time high again because, the money being spread out, even though we're going to throw 4 trillion, you're like, hey, it had a really good all-time high. It was 3 trillion. I said, yeah, but it was only one of the few pretty girls at the ball. Now there's more. There's more competition for that money. Gimme. Yeah, you got to think about that part of it too. But it is one of the reserves. It was listed. So it should be, and it's cheap. So it'll have like a really nice multiple getting back to where it was. But again, you got to spread your bets because, I mean, all this stuff coming true. I spoke about it in 2018 and 2019. And early 2020, like it was going to come pass in, November of like 2021 and beyond. Whereas really a lot of the stuff has only started coming true now because a lot of it had to do with the everything all at once and the election of the second term for President Trump. Because that's when I felt like that's when stuff would get done. Like unlike other people who've been flogging gold for 20 years, you guys can see me start going crazy about it back when it jumped from 1,300 to 1,800. You could just see like the agitation, and then I start talking about it every time, and then boom, it jumps like $500. It just seems to go like that, right? And now I think we're getting closer to the everything at once. We're sailing closer towards it, and that's what there's a crypto boom coming. But then you have all these other things going on in the world. And since there's no time in the ethos, I have to kind of guess. Yeah, it's going to be great. Like I said, I'm just like, when these pullbacks happen. And I hope that my calmness really helps you guys, because we always end up running back where I say we're going to, and people took opportunities. And those who couldn't, at least you didn't freak out and die of a heart attack like some people would. All right. I'm Richie says, hi, Sam. You mentioned earlier that XRP would go overnight to $10. Do you still see that happening? Oh, yeah, that's still happening. And from which dollar low level? Well, $2 like right now. Yeah. Because, if you're looking from far back, because remember when you guys started asking me the question about XRP, like that was back in, 2019, 2020, way back then. So, when you're looking back and you're looking at the chart and you're trying to guess the future and you see that hockey stick, as you get closer, you see that, okay, the market did start to run to the 3 trillion, like on the news, that the lawsuit with XRP was, going to be dropped.
What are the 3 best QLabs to buy this month?
I would say XRP. That used to be a QLab. I put it aside because I didn't want all the newbies involved in any of that drama. A couple of years ago, I was like, yeah, no, they don't need the drama. But that settlement should come soon. The XRP. XRP and XLM, the growth and adoption will be similar. So if you own, XRP or XLM, you're going to do very well, and they'll run alongside of each other. How closely will Coinbase release the XRP after the case is settled? I think it'll be like within a day. Any thoughts on BlackRock? They're going for exchange traded fund where others have failed with the Securities and Exchange Commission over the years. Thank you. So, yes, BlackRock. That XRP is the bull flag with the SEC settlement, but I think BlackRock knows. I think they know that something's coming. And they're going to slide in there with their ETF. They're going to be front in line, front and center.
Hi, Sam and Moo. Do you think a BlackRock spot Bitcoin ETF will be approved? If so, how long will it take?
Maybe July, because that will probably be the beginning of the run. But it's not the hockey stick it'll be the XRP that'll be the bull flag, I think. Yeah, they're setting up. Things are going to change. The big flip, and then liquidity comes, and hold on, everybody. We're there, we're close. Just hold on, don't give up. And then it went on that big run. So when you look closer up, you might see that, and then see that, and then see that, but from way back, it looks like a hockey stick. Just like some cryptos, you look at it and it just looks like it's flatlined, but then when you look in closer, like you can kind of see a little bump or something. But when you look in closer, you can actually see a lot of activity and movement, and it is on the upswing. Humine says, could Solana breach $300 before year end? Oh yeah. What level do you see it going this year? I think 400 at least, but again, off by zeros. So as we get closer to the beach, or once we pass 400, I actually gauged Ethereum almost to the T. And I compared the Solana run with the Ethereum run. And remember the different stopping points I told you guys, 400, 1200, 2000, and then 4,000. I mean, I had thought, I said last week that by the weekend, that Ethereum could be like $400 or something.
Yeah.
So maybe that's this weekend coming. And I do think we will see Ethereum in over $1,000 in 2021, if not before the end of the year, like seeing it 1,000 or 1,400. I know we're not too far away from it, but no. Ethereum can run like that. All right, Bitcoin at 40,000. No surprises there. It's going to struggle though. A lot of people are talking about 100,000, but it's going to struggle to get to 100,000 just because people are discovering the alts. Ethereum has crossed its resistance of its previous all-time high. And I think that there's nothing that's really going to stop it from going to 4,000. Because my first price pick was 1,400, that it would go there quickly. And then after that it's going to march to 4,000. And then it might meet some resistance there. I know it went as high as 4,700, but it wasn't there long enough for me to catch that. Just like I called the drop in the to 77,000 with Bitcoin, just rounded off. Hi, Sam and Moo. Will Bitcoin hit the 69 to 74,000 range this coming week, then charge upwards? Oh, yeah, for sure. I don't know about 69,000, but, we could see in the 70s. We could see. I know that's very non-committal, but again, very, very short period of time. So like, I gotta squint. Oh, did we get to 77? Oh, look, just a little overnight dip and then it's up. And, so I know a lot of people, you put those bids on. I've done that in the overnight market. You're kind of like, you go to bed and you're like, okay, when the market slows down, when things are a little bit quieter, maybe that order will get filled. Maybe prices will go down and it'll get filled. And then sure enough, it would get filled. And it was because the demand wasn't as high during that particular time. So remember, be very careful. If anything comes out in the blab, like don't try to get in at the very bottom, because, remember, greedy gets you caught. And the people on the other side, they do tend to round things off. So I would go as high as, 77,500, if I heard that blab and then I was actually in the process of buying some Bitcoin. I don't think that it's a good idea to make decisions, based on some lady you just met online who happens to have a good track record. But I mean, this is your life, right? This is your future. But I'm glad to help you out when you're just there with money you were going to put in the market this moment anyways. And then you happen to, instead of doing whatever, Oh, by the way, Tickcoin and Fartcoin, top coins. Yeah. The memes are running, and the ones that I was joking about the Titcoin, I was like, oh my God, they have Fartcoin. Now they have Titcoin. So hi, Sam, where do you think the bottom for ETH is? Thank you. I think we've seen it. I think we've already seen the bottom for ETH. Hugh Mean, last year I was hearing buzz about AI coins. Any read on Scotty, the AI? Oh, and thanks for the code on that. It makes it easier for me to find it. Let me look it up first, and then I'll show you guys my screen. All right, so this is the max, and it looks to me like it was just really a pump and a dump, because this year is April of 2024 when they launched it, and they basically just started dumping their coins, and then whoever missed it tried to pump it up, and then it's just been constantly dumped. I mean, the 24-hour trading is 28,000. And that was the thing, right? Is that they put the AI in it to get people to pile on and think it was like one of those coins. Now it's up, 14.2% in 7 days. I don't know. I don't think that it's going to be one that's going to be noticed anywhere. I mean, it only has like 5,500 wallets. So that's not very many either. Yeah, no, I would say a big no to that. Thanks for asking, Rick Ray. That was a great question. Put me to work there. Matthias says, hi, Sam. Do you see a run similar to the spring of 2021? Roughly 4 trillion. Oh, okay. Roughly 4 trillion by Mother's Day. So, yeah, I think so. Oh, Bill G. He's checking on the silver target. I'm going to say like by November, Bill G. Because remember, the stock market and silver and gold go up. But silver and gold are going up because of what's going on in other parts of the world. The American stock market is going up. How about the 4 trillion? Yes, yes, yes. Check mark. So if we get to the 4 trillion, that means that we're in play for the 8 trillion for this next 12 months. The 8 trillion is in play if we can get to the 4 trillion before June. I don't know if it's going to be by Mother's Day, but it was really as the continued good job numbers and economic statistics come out for the United States, it just begets more and more business and money and everything flowing into the US. It's all good stuff. Ah, I need to hit a sugar. Can you tell? Settle out, Sam. I know I'm excited though. The market's going to go up, 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 up. And that's when you like being on the Discord. Everyone's chatting, posting stuff. But again, what happens is that people it goes down to be worth like a 10th or a 20th before it turns around, right? And they got themselves in a situation where they can't DCA down because they put it all in there, and you know, and then they end up cashing it in because they need the money. So that's not money that should have been in cryptos anyways. You can't put money in cryptos and then expect, oh, in 3 years I'm going to have, 10, 20, 50 times my money, and then I'm just going to take it out and live the high life, and quit your job in the meantime. I mean, I'll tell you, as a sampling of a population for people in cryptos, anyone I've seen who's done that kind of stuff, it just goes down in a ball of flames for them. So please, if you're on that track, please get off of that track right now. And it's because the market that we're going into, you have to have the confidence, and you can't be looking at it as life or death, because it's just, the outcome is going to be the same. We're all going to win, except for people who couldn't manage their emotions and ended up, cashing in on the backside, because they can't sit back and watch this madness and relax, And also, of course, we got to pay attention on a regular basis because, again, a few people missed my warning about a month before. Celsius and what was it called? BlockFi, and a few others, 3 Hours Capital, all went under. That's when I was telling people to get their money off of exchanges and make sure that it was secured, like it was self-custodied.
Howdy, Sam and Moo. We had a rug pull last May, June, and the markets were slammed down. Do you see a slam down happening again on this go around if we break the all-time high, or a rug pull later in the year with manipulated slam downs? Your thoughts?
Yes, all of the above. In fact, we're probably going to see the largest hack ever in crypto blockchain history. That's going to happen this year.
Do we know what chain it's on?
I think it starts with a C. It starts with a C. And but if you're looking at exchanges, for example, they would be the most likely for the hack to occur, because if it's going to be the largest in history, it's going to have to be a big...
Celsius also starts with a C.
Oh yeah, that's right. And you know what? And I don't do Celsius because I don't have my private keys, and I worry about somebody stealing my money if I don't have private keys. Even though I don't know how it's going to happen, because I'm not getting what it is.
It's okay.
But the best thing to do is to look at what are the largest ones. I'm sure anybody who asked me about Celsius, for example, because it was like people kept at me. Like it was almost like they wanted my blessing to take this chance. Oh, well, if Sam tells me it's okay, then I'll go ahead and do it. Right? And I was like, no.
How do you feel about the Celsius app for staking or the Celsius network? Is it safe? Thank you both.
My question is, do you hold your keys? And if you don't hold your keys, then it's not safe. Don't do it.
And Summer says, hello, Sam. I am strongly considering taking a small loan against some of my current crypto holdings using the Celsius platform. Is this a good move? No. You don't have to do that. If you do that, then you won't have any cryptos.
All the high anxiety, like if you're over leveraged, and if you take like all of your DOT and you put it on Kraken, like all of it, and then you have like this meltdown because it gets hacked, and there's that time in between when the hack happens and you find out whether or not you're going to be reimbursed. I mean, you're just like, you're just in meltdown. So you have like $700,000 US worth of Polkadot, and it just went poof.
Do you think it's safe to keep funds like USDC on Celsius or BlockFi?
Celsius, though, I don't think is that based in the US? I think it's offshore, though.
It's primarily in Europe, but United States people can use it.
I don't like stuff that they can just decide to go down, because that's how they would solve their problem if they had a liquidity problem because they were being careless. All they do is they just throw the switch. Yeah, just this year, Dutch Rooney, I didn't get like a specific month or anything like that. You'll notice though that with blockchain, things are going to get really super busy, you know, in the decentralized finance like this summer. It's going to start getting super busy. And that's where you get a lot of these, you know, rug pulls, and, you know, people are like yield farming and making ridiculous returns. But again, if something sounds too good to be true, a lot of times it really is. So you got to be careful about that.
And you do believe it is a layer 1 chain?
Yeah. I was saying something like, oh, it's the largest hack in history. But really, you know who hacked it? The freaking owners. The owners of Celsius. You know, the idiot business moves of the people who were running BlockFi. You know, and I wasn't touching any of that stuff with a 10-foot pole because I know how much your cryptos are going to be worth and are worth right now. You know, so anyways, and so the amount of anxiety that people went through, and also they weren't able to access their cryptos to sell them during highs and put them in like USDC and, you know, move the money around. Like you just lose. Who wants to lose control of your cryptos for what, 3 years? I don't know. You guys can tell me how long it took the few that had little bits of money. That was the other saving grace too. Sam Jammers, people can do what they want, right? We're just a hobby channel, and, you know, everybody makes their own decision about stuff, including me. I don't blame anyone for anything that I do. It's all my decision. Yeah, but we got to hold on to one another when we have all this crazy stuff going on. And I am glad that by talking about these type of investment, you know, vehicles, and talking about why they were not a good idea, because if you don't own it, you don't own it if you don't hold your private keys. And that was proven again and again when Celsius went down and BlockFi. And so if any Sam Jammers did have money in it, it wasn't very much. You know, someone might have a portfolio of like 350,000, but they only had 10,000 at BlockFi, whereas normally they might have had 50 or 100 if I wasn't like going on so much about how these things were not trustworthy. And that I really couldn't name particular things, because a lot of people write me and they're like, does this exchange sound okay? Does that sound okay? You know, I can't really nail like what's going down. And I just know that like the BitTrex closed, but they made sure everybody got their money back. You know, but again, I don't keep my cryptos on exchanges, and they gave us plenty of notice. So whatever I did have on there, I was able to take off. But yeah, I'm very little to nothing on exchanges. It's all self-custodied, and I recommend everybody continue to do that. A lot of people have been working with the Tangent wallet. I picked one up, so I'm going to be busting into that once I get moved out and have a little bit more time on my schedule. That's taken priority like right now. And it would look like a huge conflict of interest if he all of a sudden started operating his financial services. Like he wants to make X the everything app. But I think that we need more things to come out about what was discovered in Doge. And, you know, once people see, you know, because the mainstream media is going to collapse. I mean, they really are on their last legs. Yeah, you can see that even in Canada, they're on their way out. I mean, Pierre Poilievre, he actually campaigns on canceling any funds going to CBC, because the CBC is supported by the Canadian government. And it used to be that it was just part of, no matter what, it was always part of the funding, no matter what the government was. But then that changed because, you know, the Liberals discovered that, oh, well, we're going to give them more funding, you know, and they started inviting them to things. And, you know, and of course, people aren't stupid. You don't have to let them know that, you don't have to say to their face that they're getting all this because you're sucking up to them. But you could see very clearly that a lot of people in the media, if they weren't bought and paid for outright, like in my opinion, people like Stephen Colbert and Jimmy Kimmel, they were just bought and paid for outright by, you know, whoever's pulling the strings on that side of things with the Democratic Party during that time, which would have been different people, right? Will the real estate market be down or up in June this year? Well, it depends. In the United States, overall, the real estate market will be up. even in places that typically don't do well, real estate will be up because of speculators coming in and seeing big growth in the US. That means real estate is going to be in demand. Factories, like it's a good time now to be looking at buying some acreage. But yeah, real estate, just overall, it will be up. And, Trump is he's managed to get them to flatten the interest rates and not keep raising them. He wants them to lower them. He's going to get what he wants. Don't you worry. And he just needs that period of time for the economy to recover from the levers and it's like buying, a vehicle that's been abused by the previous owner. You're like, well, just got to get this, stuff handled, and I got to do some short-term fixes on this vehicle because it's got to get me up that mountain right now. Like right now. I don't have time to have it in a shop and wait for parts to arrive and this and that. Where's the bubble gum? That's kind of what's going on. He just needs to pull those levers and make these changes. And, but like Trump is being truthful when he says, I'm the only president who would ever do it because nobody else could do it. And it takes a lot of guts. And as much as people talk about, sacrificing for their children and their family, that's what this is all about. Suck it up, Buttercup. You got to do this because like Elon Musk said about Social Security, if this wasn't fixed, like nobody was getting anything. So I don't see that there was any alternative, the American economy, the American government has spent like drunken sailors for the last 30 to 40 years. And then they started taking over so that you would never take the bank card from them. They like turned into Chucky, that puppet that started murdering people. They're very dangerous. So he's going to handle them. And I'm glad that he has protection for sure. Bradley J says, hello, Sam. Many home buyers are sitting on the sidelines waiting for the retail market to crash. This is because of the stock market, tariffs, interest rates, and other Trumponomics. How will the housing market perform the next few months? Thank you once again. This is just a short-term thing. It really depends on where you live. America is a very big country. So obviously, if you've been waiting to sell your home and you live in Maryland, well, that's unfortunate because, they haven't really done a good job with their books. And plus, it's a big bedroom community. The same with Virginia, certain cities and towns, anything that's a bedroom community for Washington, D.C. And, usually Washington, just like with COVID, totally insulated from anything that's going on in the world. They never worry about losing their jobs, nothing. But now they got a target on their head because it's the one place that has been living off the fat of the land. It was not deserved. Not individuals, of course. I'm just talking about as far as Washington, D.C. and lobbyists and all the corruption coming up. So things are going to be more even keel. But again, anybody who has talent, who has a trade or abilities or experience. See, that's the good thing about, if you worked in D.C. for 15 years. If your job goes away, I can guarantee you it's coming up somewhere else because they're going to need help in all these places where all these companies are moving to. And it's going to be, special skill set jobs as well. Okay, so Zuckerberg, Sandberg, and hot seat as FTS trial seeking meta breakup. Yeah, so I had that on my bingo card that Facebook would be broken up. And I think Mark Zuckerberg is in big trouble for lying to Congress. And I'm going to say that I think that he's going to have some serious consequences, which include jail time. Again, it's to set an example, what happens to people, and you are not exempt just because you're some rich guy. You spied on people, you lied under oath to us, anybody else, jail. So it's not like he's going to be locked up for the rest of his life. But again, it'll be enough to get people to start flying straight. Yeah, I hope Zuckerberg goes to jail too, Diana. He sits there and lies straight to everybody's face. Trump was just using him for the time being. When he was coming up and kissing the ring, he was setting an example for other billionaires. So Trump just let him go with it. He's like, oh, I'm going to let him go with it. But yeah, I know what he did. It's coming out. He knows a lot more than what he's saying. Yeah. Yeah, jail time is warranted. And that's one of the things Trump does believe strongly in. Like myself, I do think that people who cross the line to evil, that they need to be held out as an example and they need to do jail time. And I'm totally in support if Donald Trump decides to send some of the individuals who are in, you know, I just really bad American people who are in jails. I mean, if the US wants to pay El Salvador for, housing these people, I mean, that can be an industry in itself. Oh, and just as far as all of that goes, it's a shame that Canada isn't stepping up and Canada is being punished because of how they responded to Donald Trump and how they are in alignment with China more than they're in alignment with the United States. And the United States does want Canada to be strong, but right now, Mexico is the one that they're going to be doing more business with. And I was thinking that, Canada could have some good, opportunities with the car manufacturing and assembly plants with amnesty given to any of the manufacturing on each side of the border. Because again, they want to have trade. They want things in North America flowing freely and no tariffs. But you can't tariff American cars either. Right. But, you can assemble. These are the ones Land Rover's coming over and, and we don't have a plant but hey, there's a plant in, Oshawa that can do that. The US doesn't have one right now. But so again, friends all helping each other out. But I mean, you're not going to call the friend who's giving you attitude, giving you the finger, who's been, borrowing money from you forever or living off the fat of the land, but now all of a sudden they're entitled to it. Anyways, they'll get over that real quick. So you can see how Donald Trump, he's going to have to hammer Canada a little bit harder, but he needs the three amigos. Because again, if Canada and Mexico are not strong, America's not strong. And that's why he's going after the cartel in Mexico, because he needs Mexico to be strong. And this is why he went after Justin Trudeau and now Mark Carney in Canada, because he needs Canada to be strong as well. And then they can be the three amigos. I want to know if George Soros will end up in jail. No, I think he's just going to be dead. He's just going to die. Anyways, guys, it's been great. Thanks again so much for being a part of the weekly crypto review. Next weekend, I'm probably going to do another live stream on YouTube. A lot of you may have noticed that your monthly deposit of support to the Sam Jam has gone down if you're both a psychic nerd and a Sam Jammer. So we have taken that out so that if you're at a tier, a lot of people upgraded actually who might have been a basic Sam Jammer. They just bumped up to an advanced plus where they got to now be part of Ask a Medium, which I have another one of those left this month. So if you do increase your subscription level to the $75 or above, you are included in the live stream for Ask a Medium. And that is probably one of the ones that interests people the most, I think, other than the crypto review, is Ask a Medium. It's just everyone there kind of has an understanding that we're all hanging out and, we're probably going to be covering some personal stuff. And we might have to go back and forth a little bit. But like I said, we're doing a lot of stuff on YouTube just recently where we're not being shadow banned anymore. And this replay goes all across all tiers in the Sam Jam. Again, a big welcome to the newbies. See a lot of regulars and OG in the house. No coin. You made it. And Purple Rose is here too. So no prices are going up either. So we're all good there. I know inflation has been crazy and stuff, but I'm not a business that, deals with inventory. It's mainly, salaries and contract work. And certainly, we would love to give everybody a raise as well. That would be great with inflation. But again, we're very committed to the Sam Jam. And thanks again so much for hanging out. Welcome again to all the new people, and welcome back, and thank you for all your long-term support that got me to this point. So when you're reviewing those prediction videos that Spencer's going to be throwing up like crazy on X and on YouTube, and of course you guys get to see all this stuff. She posts it right in the Discord room. You can reminisce and be like, hey, I remember I was part of that live stream, or I saw the replay on that. All right. So speaking of that, I gotta go do another live. So I will see a lot of you over there at the Advanced and Premium live stream. Bye for now.